Okay, today we are going to discuss very Western kind of question about spirituality, creativity, art, meditation. And it's interesting that this kind of questions almost impossible to discuss in India or in Oriental kind of places, because people speak about life purpose, creativity, art, in a sense how it's related to meditation and spirituality only in Europe and in North America, and that's wonderful. Of course, in India there are few ashrams where people may discuss these questions, and for sure, in Aurobindo ashram, especially Auroville village, which is very interesting international project about spirituality, creativity and art. It is easy to imagine that people in Osho ashram may discuss this, and I believe, step by step people in Rishikesh also start to notice these questions. Maybe in Tiruvannamalai also. Step by step people start to think and discuss not only meditation and ancient scriptures, but also art, creativity. My general approach is, I'm always repeating my guru's words that Lord God is creator, but each and every human being is also creator. And when we take Vedic and Biblic scriptures, similarity is huge. We describe God as creator according to the Puranic or Vedic scriptures and according to the Bible. An interesting point is that Lord God somehow created human beings in his own, or maybe, who knows, in her own image. It means if he or she, Lord God, is creator, means human beings are also creators. Of course, Lord God, he or she keep on creating planets and cosmos and human beings. Even if we take geniuses like Leonardo da Vinci or Albert Einstein, of course they are all small compared to Lord God. But anyway, the quality of this creation, quality of this creativity, quality of this act of creativity, better to say, is similar. And I believe that to discover Lord God inside, we have first of all, practice meditation and contemplation. In all our meditation, if they're real, they are about self-inquiry, contemplation of the nature of consciousness. But at the same time, to be creative is also extremely important spiritual act, which may help to discover this divine nature of our consciousness and whatever happened around us. And when we speak about even such as saints or great masters like Buddha Shakyamuni or Ramana Maharshi, anyway, we see creativity even in Ramana Maharshi. because yeah, he spent years meditating, but then he started to teach, to write some poems, to give spiritual instructions. He constructed a wonderful ashram. All that is creativity after all. And of course, for the Kriya Yoga tradition, Yogananda was absolutely creative, writing books, even poetry about samadhi, for example. You know, working with the people, and he was very creative. And you know, to be creative, it doesn't mean to be poet or artist. It can be whatever, but that's expression of God in my heart, or God in the heart of any given spiritual seeker or human being. And well, I remember that Yogananda Paramahamsa, for example, he was fond of science and much less art, because his point was like, okay, scientific research is something objective, and art is too much personal, too much like, okay, my feeling, my point, my vision. And so that's the reason why Yogananda's approach was like more scientific, like what is objective knowledge for everyone. Because in art, in painting, in music, in poetry, it's never for everyone. You may like, you know, Kandinsky, or you may like Vincent van Gogh. It's like always your choice. You can like this kind of art or that kind of art. But for me, it's wonderful that art is very personal. And advantage of art is that it's like more out of feeling, emotions and intuition. Because scientific approach, it's anyway, it must be based on logic. It's like 2 plus 2 must be 4. Of course, in modern science, sometimes they say it's questionable and it can be not always 4. But in art, even no 2, no plus, no again 2, no 4, no equal, just stream of vibration, emotion, feeling and personal approach. And that's not bad, that's wonderful. That's also part of divine reality. And I think that's interesting that now we have quite many spiritual masters who are at the same time doing some art. And as far as I remember, it's like Prema or Carl Rain, so many modern, more like New Age Advaita people, they easily jump into the art. And that's wonderful. Because okay, maybe not in India, but it's like more in China and Japan. In the Buddhist tradition of China and Japan, art is part of meditation tradition. For example, calligraphy. For example, painting is the part of meditation tradition. It's like tea ceremony, like they took some green tea or white tea, red tea, and it became part of meditation for China and Japan. Of course, in India it's slightly difficult to accept this kind of approach, because they like more formal, strict meditation. But for the Buddhist tradition, you know, it's like even walking meditation is also meditation. And it's wonderful that according to the Buddhist approach, whatever happen, including just you walk down the street, that can become meditation and art easily. Because when you do some painting, for example, the same spiritual questions may appear, like, who is doing this artwork? Am I as the personality who is doing this artwork, or maybe is just born out of cosmic consciousness through the media of my hand? And when art is more like out of ego, then I have to sit, think, create some sketches, and then say, okay, I like this composition because I like this. But if it is like meditation process, then it's spontaneous, then it's like you never know what kind of painting may be created by you, but not by you, but through you. And if we speak about history of art, I think that's starting with since the end of 19th century, most of the artists, they stopped to do sketches. They directly do some art on the canvas. That's influence of meditation. Because if we create art out of mind and ego, then I have first 1 week think about what kind of art or painting I wish to create, like all that sketches, like many different types of composition. But if it just meditations, just spontaneously, that's what's happening since the end of 20th century, end of 19th century, in France, then in Europe, like that. That's influence of meditation. Even if that artist, they didn't know about meditation, but anyway, influence was there. It's like, always interesting that, okay, middle and the second half of 19th century Theosophical Society by Madame Blavatsky, of course, influenced Western culture a lot, and means in sometimes people who at that time were very far from, reading books written by Blavatsky, even that people got influence. And so I think that somehow birth of modern esoteric tradition and modern art, it's happened in the end of 19th century, and somehow it's connected. By the way, George Gurdjieff, he was a musician, and he was performing with his disciples in Europe and the United States, like performance, like modern theater. It's very interesting. Gurdjieff, who was speaking about self-inquiry, self-remembrance, but it was sometimes like lectures, seminars, but sometimes just performance. Amazing how it's possible. So that's influence of art into esoteric tradition, and esoteric tradition jumped into the art. And Russian Nicholas Roerich, who was a great artist as well, and he spent his life in Himalayas, but many of his paintings are in the United States. Also art, just oil on canvas. So-called the mother, who was like spiritual half of Sri Aurobindo, he was also creating music, very strange, very unusual. Sri Chinmoy, the Indian guru who spent second half of his life in New York, was also artist and musician, very unusual artist, very unusual musician, and many people can't even understand what kind of art is this. But really it's like art which is out of any classical approach to the art. So it means art can be and it must be a tool for the meditation as well.